So what's your name?
Lamont Harrison.
Okay, Lamar. What is your role in the Richard Boyd Empowerment Pathways Fellowship?
I'm an organizing fellow, graduate of 2019.
Okay. What has this journey been like for you?
Um, it's been good. It's had its ups and downs, but it was empowering, enlightening, informative. I learned a lot. I feel like I'm a better individual than what I was when I came in.
Okay. And as far as this journey, what is different about your life today that stands out from before you started the journey?
I'm more equipped to do the job of organizing and working with the community or working with organizations.
Okay. Now, was this transformative opportunity necessary? Or?
Yeah, it was. It made me more responsible, both to myself, my family, and my community.
Okay.
And it opened doors for me. So, yeah.
All right. What do you think is next for you? But keep in mind that Tamisha would say this is only the beginning. But what do you think is next for you?
Continuing to work with Safe Return, but also I'm going to be starting another job with Communities for a Better Environment. I'm going to be an organizing intern there for 10 hours a week.
Okay. And what is that going to consist of? Is it going to be kind of...
The same thing that I'm doing here.
Okay. All right. And if you could say one thing about Safe Return, what would it be?
Like I said, Safe Return, it changed me. It made me responsible, made me better. Safe Return is a life changer. We need more Safe Returns in this world. Let's branch out to LA now.
So what's your name?
Carlos Fernandez.
All right, Carlos. What is your role in the Richard Boyd Empowerment Pathways Fellowship?
My role would be like really gathering like the training, learning how to organize and advocate for people in low-income communities, and investing in myself for the first 6 months. That was my role, and then just organizing was my second role. And then as time went on through that year, I took on mentoring too.
Okay. What has this journey been like for you as a whole?
It's been interesting, and I think I learned a lot about myself more than that. And I also learned a lot about community and how to fight for your community. Also, it's life-changing knowing that last year my life was taking crazy turns, and then this year it's like I'm in spaces with politicians, I'm at summits and conferences, so it's really life-changing.
What would you say is different about your life today from before the fellowship program?
I grew.
Like you grew up?
I grew up as a person. I changed some habits, but I'm still me, and I just do more positive things.
Now, was this kind of transformative opportunity necessary? Like, was it necessary for you to go through this change and go through this fellowship to become the person that you are today?
Definitely. If I would never had the investment that I've got these past 12 months, I don't know where I'll be, but I want to be at a position of leadership and at a position of helping young people believe in themselves. I would have been in the other position, the opposite position of somebody trying to still help me if they even knew me. So yeah.
Now, if you can say one thing about Safe Return, what would it be?
I say that Safe Return gives you the chance to fight for your community in a positive way. It gives you a chance to invest in yourself. It gives you a chance to be a leader in your community.
All right, so tell me your name.
My name is Adetashagari.
And what is your role in the Richard Boyd Empowerment Pathways Fellowship?
Well, my role now, as I'm going to be graduating, is a community leader, a new leader, organizer in the Contra Costa County at large.
Okay. What has this journey been like for you over the entirety of the fellowship?
This journey has been bittersweet. It's sweet because, I found my direction, I found my purpose, I found peace. But it was bittersweet because I had to basically kill the past self of mine. And so it was difficult to coming to terms with who you are, why you're here, your mistakes, having humility now, and being able to reconnect with friends and family, and being productive, and just being alive and free.
What would you say is different about your life today from before you started to now?
I would say the main difference is that I have a relationship with myself.
That's very important.
That's one of the things that came out of this whole process, is having a relationship with myself, getting to know who I am, not as somebody who is a victim or a survivor or anything like that, but just my core, what my values are, what I like, how am I a team player, how do I contribute, what does my presence do to my environment, what type of person I am, or a sister or a cousin or a wife or whatever it may be. I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot through processing, to communicating with myself every day in the morning, journaling, and letting my guards down and not being defensive. I realized this year that I operated maybe for 10 years from being defensive, and now I'm able to see it and relax and make the changes. I know that a year is not enough, but I'm on the right path. So I think the biggest thing that I got out of this personally is getting to know myself for who I am.
Now, was this kind of transformative opportunity necessary for you?
Well, for me, yes, because everybody has their own journey to do. A lot of the processes that I was talking about that I went through are actually life lessons that were given to me by my family that I didn't listen way back then. So the way that it's coming at me now through Safe Return, through an organization and a woman who's actually, walked the same path that I have, for some reason I was able to hear it, and it was able to click. And so, yeah, it made a difference.
So, what is next for you?
Yes, this is the beginning. Well, what's next for me is, I'm being in this fellowship and being around the people and organizations and leaders of this county has allowed me to get my housing. It has allowed my name to go into spaces and be noticed. And what I would like next for me is to continue to work and organize and change policy, specifically with housing and women and young girls in prisons, and connecting with and becoming a leader, actually. And I plan as a member, I plan to be around. I'm not going anywhere, but I'm going to take it one step at a time because this is all new to me.
Last question. You can make it short and sweet. If you could say one thing about Safe Return, what would it be?
I would say it's wholeness. Safe Return, the space that's here, the people and the processes that are set in front of you. If you really give everything to it and you just open your heart, you're an open book, and you let these people help you, at the end of it you feel whole. Despite whatever happened, you're going to get the tools to handle your issues. You're going to have opportunities to go to school if you want to, work if you want to. But whatever it is, you're around people who understand your plight. You're around people that have been impacted by the criminal justice system. And you're around people that are compassionate and that understand that in this skin, you're already behind. They understand all of that. So, in one word, I would just say wholeness.
Thank you. What's your name?
My name is Michelle Walker.
Okay. Now, what is your role in the Richard Boyd Empowerment Pathways Fellowship?
So, I'm a fellow with the Richard Boyd Empowerment Fellowship. I'm a graduate, actually, because I graduate in about a couple of days, so yeah.
Okay. What has this journey been like for you during the fellowship?
Man, it's been amazing. I learned a lot about organizing, about advocacy work, about data research. I learned a lot about building connections. I learned a lot about one-on-ones. I learned a lot about writing, did a lot of writing, and a lot about digital, creating PowerPoints, turning data into charts. Just a lot of great things. And how to be able to publicly speak. So I took public speaking, took some computer classes, some life skills, learned some new life skills, trying to set some healthy boundaries.
Absolutely. Now, what is different about your life today?
Well, what's different today is I feel like I have grown as a human being, as a leader, I've grown on knowledge, so I learned a lot. I just feel like the biggest thing is my growth that I've had over a year of nothing but educational stuff, so I had to grow. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Now, do you feel like this transformative opportunity was necessary for you?
Oh man, definitely. I've done a lot in my life, but this is like one of the most amazing things. I got to meet a lot of people. I got to fight for a lot of causes. I got to change some policies. Yeah, I got to be a face of certain campaigns. Yes. It was definitely needed. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about communicating. It was amazing. It was definitely worth it, and it was definitely needed.
Now, what's next for you?
So, it has to be, people say, this is only the beginning. Because we got a lot more work to do, and a lot of more fights to fight, and a lot of more policies to change. So, definitely this is only the beginning. And what's next for me is just to continue to fight for equal opportunity rights for formerly incarcerated people, and to prove to the world that we are not criminals. We are human beings, and we are not our mistakes. We are us now. We are our present.
Now, if you could say one thing about Safe Return, what would it be?
They're amazing. Safe Return is an amazing organization. They have an amazing support team. They fight for every right, almost everything. So I just love them. They got me out of the streets. They save lives. They transform lives. So, from sagging my pants to wearing a suit. So I'm not in a suit today, but I'm not.
That's a big transformation.
I'm not sagging my pants either.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for talking to me today. Name and occupation.
Nicole Valentino, life coach.
And what is your role with the Richard Boyd Empowerment Pathways Fellowship?
My role is to coach the fellows, to help them, to support them in the work that they're doing to complete the fellowship, and to work with them around personal issues that impact their being able to complete the program.
Okay. What does transformation mean to you?
Well, it means significant or dramatic change, shifting from one way of being to another, shifting from one form into another form.
Okay. Now, what transformative process have you seen take place within the fellowship program?
Well, that's been really exciting. I've seen because I work with the fellows, I've seen the individual fellows transform from individuals who knew that they had a certain ability to accomplish any number of things if they set their minds to it. And I've seen them move from a place of wondering if they could change their lives in significant ways in order to complete this program, and more important, to make the kinds of significant changes that they want and need in their lives to move forward. So the transformation that I've seen has been really exciting. I've seen an increase in confidence and belief in themselves and self-worth. I've seen tremendous growth in their ability to think about living their lives in different ways, and also to think about how they might impact other people's lives in significant ways.
Amazing. What challenges would you say lie ahead for the fellowship program as a whole, or Safe Return as a whole?
Okay. I think some of the challenges that lie ahead are continuing to help people who don't understand the challenges of formerly incarcerated people.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the challenges is an expectation that things happen more quickly than might be possible. So I think, frankly, one challenge is that people who don't really understand what formerly incarcerated people are dealing with, some people underestimate what they can do, and other people overestimate what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
And to be clear, no two fellows or two formerly incarcerated people are exactly alike. I don't mean to suggest that. I do mean to say that there are a number of challenges that formerly incarcerated people have in their lives, just like non-incarcerated people or people who've never been incarcerated have to deal with. I think a huge problem is that on top of dealing with the normal everyday challenges that other folks have to deal with, they have this burden of having to prove that their lives are worth as much, that they're as worthy, that they're as intelligent, that they're as capable.
Yeah.
So I think that some of the challenges that the fellowship or the Safe Return project as a whole has to deal with is having the burden of the responsibility of communicating that effectively to people, funders in particular,
Yeah.
but also other people who may not support the actual individual fellows. I think the individual fellows need to be challenged by friends and family and colleagues, anyone who they come across.
Okay. And lastly, what would you like to say to the fellows and the organization as this journey continues?
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I think what I'd like to say to the first group, this first cohort, is thank you. I feel enormously moved by their willingness to be themselves with me, to be honest with me, to let me see them, to let me work with them. I'm grateful for that opportunity. And by extension, I would say thank you to Safe Return for hiring me for the job. I would say I wish them all the best, that I have absolute confidence in each and every one of them, that they can take what they brought into the fellowship, all the skills they had, the passion that they had, combined with what they learned in the fellowship, and sky is the limit. They can do whatever they want. They can go wherever they want. And I would say to them, don't be strangers. I would say that they found incredible support in the Safe Return project, and that as they move out into the world, they know that they can always come back and check in and have a home there. I think that's really important to know, that just because the program is completing doesn't mean that they need to go away, move away.
Absolutely. Thank you for talking to me today.
Oh, you're very welcome.
What would you like to say to the fellows and the organization as this journey continues?
So, since it's two different questions, well, same question and answering in two different contexts. Mm-hmm. To the fellows, let me say, as your journey continues, remember that this work is life's work. It don't never stop. It doesn't matter how far you go. It doesn't matter how healthy you are. It doesn't matter how unhealthy you are. This is work that will never end until you draw your last breath. So you got to be in this for the long haul. And the work that I'm talking about is work on self. You cannot help anybody else, which I've learned, until you got a good grasp on how to assist, process, and help with yourself. So there'll be dark days, but there will also be some bright and great days. Don't ever give up the fight, and remember and draw on the things that you were exposed to and that you learned right now. It was a pleasure working with everybody, seeing everybody through their highs and their lows, seeing how everybody came in, and seeing where everybody ended up a year later. I would say that to recognize your own inner strength and how precious and how strong you actually are, that we haven't even seen how strong and how actually strong that you are. So I want to say congratulations. I want to say it was a pleasure for me. I want to say that it was a great learning experience for me as well, and that the sky is the limit. The only limiting factor is yourself. For the organization, let me just say, for Safe Return, and especially Tamisha Walker, for coming through with this initiative and bringing this dream of Richard Boyd to life. Thank you for keeping Richard's memory alive, for what he stood for what he believed in, the thing that he saw in everybody is their potential and greatness. And there were many conversations about how to bring that out of people. And you actualized that in turn, which was hours and hours of conversation into an actual functioning, existing process that people can engage in, where they can literally be paid to work on themselves and be open to having a greater future. So for that, I would say thanks to the organization and thanks to you. And I was very honored to be a part of this journey for the organization, and I look forward to continuing the partnership.